When we think of disruption and innovation, we tend to think of complicated machines full of cutting-edge technology. Or we think of genius people that can send a man to the moon or put the internet into the palm of our hands. Innovation has almost become a synonym for invention and little more. Unjustly so. And disruption is now mostly associated with terrifying cataclysmic changes and not with just facing a bigger challenge head on. But why is that? Let's talk about it. This is GMF Compact. Some of the most paradigm-shifting innovations of history were rather simple mechanisms made to address the disruptions thrown at mankind. And here are some examples that may even inspire us today. Number 1. Concrete. Liquid stone. How about that? Now, you may or may not like brutalist architecture, but cement is something that is all around you, literally holding up the structures that dictate our everyday lives. No longer do we laboriously have to chisel things out of a rock. But did you know that this is a fairly recent invention, dating back in its current form only 200 years? Number 2, the wheel. What goes around comes around, or so the saying goes. But it's hard to imagine that the wheel wasn't even invented until 3500 BC. This means that for the vast majority of our human history, we did literally not have wheels. A wheel. Number 3, soap. I suppose I don't have to tell you how important it is to wash your hands, especially now of all times. And you have the Babylonians to thank for that. Soap does not only cleanse dirt off by removing grease from any surface, it also, in its modern form, breaks up the components of germs, like a weapon that destroys everything that gets in its way. Pretty high tech, if you ask me. Number 4, Waterloo. Not just a song by a Swedish band or an infamous battle involving Napoleon. The first flushable toilet was invented only 400 years ago. And that does not mean that it went into a complex sewage system like we know today. That only came about in the 1850s. And I think I speak for all of us when I say that imagining a world without toilets is probably harder than imagining a world without a microwave. History moves in only one direction, and that's forward. But whether your claim to fame is working on microchips or using the tools of a carpenter to create a useful product, innovation is inside all of us. The human race itself is the result of innovation, as evolution itself is such a complex concept that humankind is far from replicating anything like it. In other words, we're all born inventors. There's a Marie Curie or a Thomas Edison in all of us.